On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, I'm going to respond to a viewer's question about how to store ERC20 tokens on a KeepKey. We've got this article from Bitcoin.com talking about how Huobi exchange, the Chinese exchange, and how it plans to handle the Bitcoin fork. Quick hint, they're going to give you both tokens. I found this cool little infographic that shows the rate at which ICOs have missed their fundraising goals has increased dramatically just since June, so we'll dig into that. You know this story about Bittrex banning people and disabling their accounts randomly? Well, here's an official statement from their website that we'll look into. We'll also do a mini market roundup at the end of the show, looking at the biggest movers and shakers of the day. So all of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse. No intro today, so let's just get right into it. So there's this ability on the Cryptoverse website. If you go to the podcast page, there's this section that says request a topic. You can click the big green button that says request or make a request, and then you can submit a story to me or ask me to cover something on the show. And lots of people do this. And one of the ones I got recently was someone asks, how on earth do you store your Ethereum ERC20 tokens on a KeepKey? Now, the previous answer to this was the Multibit wallet, which is multibit.org. However, as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube from the Multibit website, Multibit is no longer supported. So this was a desktop wallet that would interface with the KeepKey and then allow you to store ERC20 tokens. However, they're saying that the development of this thing has fallen too far behind and they're now going to abandon it. Now, then once I found out this was no longer supported, I tweeted at KeepKey directly and I said, excuse me, KeepKey, what third-party software applications and wallets support the KeepKey and store ERC20 tokens? They said there isn't any at this time. Someone else chimed in and said Multibit, but then I checked it out and of course that is no longer viable. So the actual answer to the question to the viewer is there isn't one. At the moment, there is no way to store ERC20 tokens on a KeepKey. So there we go. You'll have to stick with Ledger Nano S's, which do interface with my Ether wallet and therefore can store all the ERC20 tokens. In fact, that's how I store my ERC20 tokens. I use a KeepKey, sorry, not a KeepKey, I use a Ledger Nano S, I connect it to my Ether wallet, and then I have ERC20 tokens transferred into that. So that is the answer to that good viewer. If you'd like to submit a question to the show, go to cryptoversity.com/podcast, scroll down to where it says request a topic, click the green make a request button and fill out the form, and then I'll consider featuring it on the show. Moving on to the next story from Bitcoin.com. This one is an article entitled The Digital Asset Exchange Huobi, H-U-O-B-I, provides users with fork plans. So it says right here, the exchange details that it plans to support all the tokens that derive from the upcoming SegWit 2x hard fork, which is roughly like the 18th of November, don't quote me on that, but it's back end of November at current block rates anyway. Now here's a quote from the actual trading platform themselves. Quote, Huobi Pro does not have the right to pick and choose any coins derived from Bitcoin SegWit hard fork on behalf of its users. Close quote. So that's a good point. The platform could say, well, we're going to support SegWit 2x but not regular Bitcoin, and have pretty much then made the decision for their users. That isn't fair. They're a platform, not a decision maker for their users. So long story short, they're going to give you both. If you have Bitcoin on the exchange when it splits, just like with Bitcoin Cash, you'll get both tokens. Now it does say here further down that Huobi details it will be suspending deposits and withdrawals for up to 3 days. This is pretty normal. We saw this happen when the Bitcoin Cash fork was pending, and depending on the exchange or the platform, depending on how long they closed deposits for. Shapeshift, they closed off Bitcoin deposits, but they opened them up like the next day. They were really quick at getting back up and running again. So it may not be that bad at all. And then one other thing this article says here, it says, furthermore, if the hard fork is successful, Huobi plans to rename the new split coin and reward people with a token at a ratio of 1:1. So they're going to give it a new name. They talk about here, if the fork fails, Huobi will cease actively trading what they call BT1 and BT2 future tokens. So this is a weird thing. Some exchanges are already trading kind of the SegWit2x version of Bitcoin, even though it doesn't exist yet. So they are allowing people to trade the future value of it by giving them a kind of a virtual token that represents, you know, the Bitcoin they're going to get when the chain splits. Now those futures may be worth nothing if the real SegWit2x Bitcoin launches and then flops. By the same token, if you acquire some of these futures at $5 and then the SegWit2x Bitcoin ends up being worth $500, there you go. You're going to make 100 times on your money. So there we go. Moving on from there, this infographic is pretty cool. I got this from a post on Medium, I think it was. So this shows June, July, August, and through to September 25th, 2017. Back in June of 2017, 92% of ICOs listed here reached their fundraising goals and only 7% missed their goals. Actually, there's only one project listed in June as having missed its goal, and that was D Corp, when it raised 45% of its goal. However, Bancor, Status, 10x, the SOM Network, Civic, AmizaGo, Co-Founder, Wager, Populous, Streamio, ADX, and Primal Base and Air all hit their fundraising goals, including Bancor, which did 153 million, according to this, and AmizaGo with 25 million, and so on. It goes on from there. The following month, it drops to 41% of ICOs hit their goal, 59% missed. So these are the big ones like Tezos, raised 232 million and hit that goal. There's who else we got here? Any other big ones here? Fund Yourself Now raised 1 million. Sentiment raised 10 million, and so on. But then you've got like Gigawatt missed the goal. Pillar, TrueFlip came short with only 30% of their money raised, and on and on. Right, so you get the idea. And then again in August it goes back the other way a little bit. 46% hit their goal in August. 54% missed. However, in that column, there are a lot more projects. The biggest fundraise in August was Filecoin, 252 million. And kind of interesting. And then you go right through to September. So this is up to the 25th of September. 34% of ICOs hit their goal. 66% missed. So the ones that did actually hit their fundraising goal in September things like ICO Box, the Kick ICO, Black Moon Crypto, which I did a review on, the Kin ICO with 97 million. But some that missed their goal are things like Substratum, BitDice, you've got Chronologic in there, you've got, who else, any of these that I've heard of? Actually, some of these I haven't really heard of at all. One called Social. But you're looking at like 24% of the money raised. Chronologic did 72%. But like Prospectors, 7% of the money they raised, and so on. So this is kind of interesting. I'll link to this in the show notes so you can check this out for yourself. It's a really nicely laid out graphic, but it shows a trend to, as the volume of ICOs increase, the rate at which ICOs are hitting their goals is decreasing. And that would make sense because if the ecosystem of Bitcoin and so on isn't growing, if more capital isn't coming in, I mean, I set aside a portion of my income every month to invest. However, that's limited, right? We don't have a limited amount of capital to invest. So either the existing amount of money in crypto is being saturated, or the rate at which new capital is coming in isn't fast enough to keep up with the ICOs. That's more likely, to be honest. Moving on to this Bittrex response statement on disabled accounts. This is right on Bittrex's own support website, posted yesterday at 5:28 p.m. It says, we would like to address recent reports regarding Bittrex account suspensions. They say they occasionally conduct compliance reviews and are working vigilantly to protect our service and our users from harm. As part of our compliance review, we have temporarily suspended certain accounts pending the completion of the review. Okay. It says the total number of suspended and closed accounts is very limited, less than 0.1% of the total accounts. Well, that's not really the issue. The issue was doing it randomly, right? These users that couldn't log in, why didn't they see a message that told them this? That's kind of really the point of all the reporting around this. It does go on to say here that any reports that claim Bittrex miscalculated or misapplied its exchange fees, that there's any security problem with the exchange, or that Bittrex have lost any coins stored on users' behalf, and yada yada. That's all incorrect, they say. They also say that this claim that they were banning people from Slack attempting to discuss the status of their accounts, they say that's also incorrect, but they say they are committed to keeping Bittrex strong and stable and compliant and yada yada yada, right? So there we go. They end it by saying, for us, we plan to keep calm and carry on. I don't know if that's entirely appropriate, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Back to the point though. Why didn't they display a very clear statement when people tried to log into their accounts, right? That would have alleviated the whole problem, wouldn't it? By just clear communication. So, again, we had tons of people respond to yesterday's show in the comments saying that some people said they were having no trouble logging into their accounts, and a whole bunch of people said they were having trouble. But they didn't, those people didn't say, well, it's because of this, and I know this is the reason because I saw a message. People weren't reporting that. So that is the point, Bittrex. You didn't communicate why people's accounts had been suspended. You should have put a message up like this that says, as part of a compliance review, we have temporarily suspended your accounts pending the completion of a review, right? And then say this is only affecting a small number of customers and we'll be back up and running as soon as possible, right? That would have gone a long way to alleviating people's suspicions. So let's end the show today with a bit of a market roundup. We have Ripple as one of the big losers of the day, down 10.84%. It's still in third place though, with a market cap of 8.8 billion. We have another big loser today, it's LiteCoin, unfortunately, with a 9.33% loss on the day, down to like $56.43. Still holding on to fifth place though, with a $3 billion market cap. Now, Bitcoin Cash has had another good day today, 9.67% gain on the day, putting it in fourth place with a $6 billion market cap. And we'll look at the chart for Bitcoin Cash in just a mo. I think right now it's trading at $328, and this snapshot the coin market cap is displaying is 363, so it's moved down since then. Neo is another big winner relatively in the top 10 with a 2.82% gain. I had one more big loser, which was Stellar Lumens. This is a pullback from that massive rise it had earlier in the week. So it's in 16th place by market cap with a $616 million market cap, and it's trading around 3.7 cents, having gone down 14.99%. In terms of the charts, today Bitcoin Cash is giving back all the gains that it had yesterday. There was a abnormally large gaining candle yesterday, which went above the point of resistance that I was mentioning. $374 was the resistance point. The high of the day did manage to get above that at $397, just tickling $400. Wasn't able to maintain it and came back down to close at $368. Today it's continued to fall and is now trading at $329. Bitcoin itself is having a bit of a pullback from the big old move, as we would suspect actually. Right now it's touching on my support line that I drew. I drew my Fibonacci retracement lines, actually redrew them the other day. I started them at the bottom of the big old China crash and the ICO ban and all that kind of stuff. So it's right down there at 2,980, that's where it begins, and it ends at 5,920. That then draws some Fibonacci retracement lines, the one of which is at 5,226, which is oddly, if you look at this on YouTube, right where this pullback has stopped. So I'd been saying earlier on in the week that while it was looking stable, it was surprising me that we were sitting around 5,775 odd, because I would expect that big booms like this would cause the market to see Bitcoin as overvalued and have some profit takers pulling it back down again. So if you were looking for a new entry point, this looks like a reasonable one, because this is a phase 2 to the big phase 1 that we had when the price rocketed. Let's just have a very quick look here at Ethereum. And Ethereum's also having a bit of a bad time today. You know, I called out the resistance point at $352. That is 2 days ago where it hit. Actually, the high of the day was like 355, and then since then it's having a big old fall. Now there is a support line at $296, which is pretty good. Looking at this, it's sat right on it. The low of the day is $297, so it's about $1 above my support line. So I think it should be okay. There's been lots of interaction with this $300 mark. It seems to be where the market has consensus on the value of an Ethereum token for the last several weeks, so I think that's going to hover around that for the time being. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my structured online courses that will teach you things like how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out cryptoversity.com. So I am about to fly to Oslo, Norway to do this talk on decentralized exchanges. I'll be doing that tomorrow. You can tune into the BitSpace YouTube channel if you want to check out the live stream. I'm on about 1:30 p.m. It's CEST, whatever that is, Central European time or something. But check out the time for Oslo and then that should help you. Alrighty guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.